Right, so today we're going to talk about my entire watch collection. A lot of people have been asking about this, so I'm just going to go through and talk about each and every single one of them. I have amassed a quite big collection of watches, so I've got another one here, and then also another box here with a few more watches. So yeah, just going to go through in no particular order on the description of them and also why I decided to pick them up. And just for reference, I've got about £42,950 worth of watches here. And to be honest, the whole value of them is kind of made up between three of these watches. Most of them are not worth a lot of money at all. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is this Black Bay Black. The reference number is 79220N. So what makes this watch so special is this is the first luxury watch that I ever bought myself. The Tudor back then, when they were trying to break back into the European market, they used an ETA movement for a lot of their watches. Most of the Black Bay were in blue or red, and they dropped the black one in 2016 or end of 2015, and they only had the Black Bay Black in the ETA movement for a very short amount of time. I think it's less than a year, and you can tell this by the rose logo on the dial. So everything that was ETA movement had a rose logo, and then nowadays the traditional Tudor shield logo. It's a very limited production piece, and it's probably one of the reasons why I love this one so much. And yeah, it's a relatively sought after piece amongst watch collectors, so it's got a very special place in my heart. And this watch, the current value is about £3,500. And another reason why I love this watch so much is because the box it comes in is just absolutely incredible. So it looks and feels like a Rolex box. So it had a really premium build quality, and overall it's just, the general packaging is just incredible. Whereas if you were to compare it to the modern boxes, they got this kind of paper-ish material on the top here. And then even the hinge as well is just covered in paper. And it just doesn't have that same look and premium quality as it did back then when they were making these ETA watches. So yeah, everything about it I just love, especially the rose dial and also the packaging as well. So if you do ever get a chance to pick this one up, I would highly recommend it. Obviously it'll be from the secondary market. Okay, the next watch I'm going to talk about is this one, which is a Rolex two-tone Datejust, and the ref number for this is 116233. So my dad actually bought this when I was born. I don't know if he actually bought it intending to give it to me, but he doesn't really wear watches anymore, so he just gave this one to me. And what's funny about it is he spilled some soy sauce on the watch right here, and it's just left a permanent stain. I mean, I could probably get it off if I took it to a proper watch cleaning place, but I feel like the soy sauce mark just gives it a little bit of a character. Yeah, it's just really classic two-tone Datejust, and the current value of this is £7,894. Okay, next let's talk about this Rolex Datejust, which is in the Wimbledon dial. So the previous Rolex I just showed is a 36mm diameter. This one is a 41, so this is called the Wimbledon dial. So if you know anything about watches, again, this Datejust dial is probably one of the sought after one. So this is the first watch that I bought with Alicia. It was something that, and I also wore this on my wedding days. So this is just super special watch, and it's the most valuable watch I have in my collection. So this is valued at £11,207. All right, let's talk about something that isn't a Tudor or Rolex. So this is a Seiko Presage, and the rev number is SSA392J1. I think this is the Presage Espresso. I can't actually remember the name Again, it's another limited edition one. They say it's a limited edition, and they made about 8,000 of these watches. This one is number 2482. What I like about this is on the back, it's got an open case glass dial, so you can see the movement. To me, I'm just really fascinated by the watch movements, and I just like watching the ticking movement. And I also got this because I wanted something that's a little bit more of a dress watch, because a lot of these that I've got, they're more of a stainless steel sports watch. However, the thickness of this, I do think this is actually the thickest watch that I've got. So for a dressy occasion where I might be wearing a suit, it's not actually that suitable. And another thing I really like about Seiko's is it's got a power reserve as well. So overall, just really like the design of this one, except for the thickness of the watch. And this one is valued at £643. So I've actually lost some money on this one. All right, next let's talk about these two, which are the limited edition Snoopy watches from Undone. So Snoopy is one of those cartoons I used to watch when I was growing up. So I've just personally got a childhood connection with the character, and these were made in memory of the moon landing. Obviously, it's not an Omega, so it's not the moon landing watch, and it's just a nice cheap option if you can't afford the Omega Snoopy, because I do believe they're going for about 20 grand at the moment. I think the more recent one maybe even more, but yeah, just really like the design of these. It's simple, cheap and cheerful, and also has some character in them. And I wouldn't say they're worth anything because there's not really a real demand for these watches. Next, this is the Seiko Alpinist. So I bought this just before it got discontinued, and the rev number for this is SARB017. So I bought this back in March in 2018, and I think I bought this one for 300 quid, and the second-hand market price for these is about £624. Yeah, I just really like the green dial on this one. And back then, I think a lot of the Seiko watches, they just got a really unique design. Nowadays, they're doing a lot of limited editions, and most of the time, I don't even know what the limited edition is about. So yeah, I just much prefer Seiko watches back then. And this is one of the more special ones I've got. And along with the SARB017, I've also got the infamous and very sought after SARB035. So I haven't actually worn this watch out once. Still got its original packaging and stickers on it. Again, I bought this around the same time as Alpinist when they got discontinued. And again, if you know anything about watches, this is one of the most sought after Seikos at the moment. There are some people that I follow on Instagram who've got some of the rarest Seikos that I've ever seen in my life. Some of them are just incredible, but obviously I wasn't really into watches back then, and yeah, never got a chance to pick them up. But luckily I got this one before it got discontinued. And this one, when I purchased it, it was £350, and now these ones are valued at about £818. All right, next let's talk about this, which is the Rolex Air King, and this specific model is reference 126900. And this is the most recent piece that I picked up. I think I picked this one up last year. At the time, I picked this one up for about £5,500, and is valued at £7,574 right now. So personally, I really like the design of the Air King. I think it's a little bit polarizing in terms of what people think about it. The main thing that I like about the Air King is the fact that it's the only Rolex with a yellow logo at the top. Everything else is just got like a metal Rolex logo, which obviously is cool as well. But Rolex, their logo itself is yellow, and I believe this is the only one that has that. So I just really like the design of this. And yeah. All right, next we got another Tudor. So this is the Tudor GMT. The reference number for this is the 79830RB. So this is the first watch I picked up when I moved to London. So I actually picked this one up back in 2019. At the time, they didn't have that many stock available. So it was a relatively sought after piece. So when it first came out, you know, the value of these gone up to £3,500, close to £4,000. But obviously they've met the demand of these now. And whilst they haven't appreciated in value like some of these Rolexes, they do hold their value very well. And obviously the GMT function is very useful, and overall I do just really like the design of the Pepsi bezels. So it's got the blue and the red, which I really like. So I purchased it for £2,800, and these on the secondary market right now, they're going for about £2,396. So in terms of percentage, I've lost about 15% in value, which isn't too bad. All right, so this is the Tudor Harrods edition. The ref number for this is 79230G. This was extremely sought after at the time of its release. So the Tudor Black Bays, they would go for about £2,300 at the time of release. And yeah, back then it fetched all the way up to about 6-7 grand. So these were very sought after, but nowadays not so much because they're readily available at Harrods. Now, I would be interested to see if they still do the naming or the numbering of them. So at the time, they kind of said it's going to be a special edition and very limited run. So this one is actually number 2763, and that was 6-7 years ago. So I don't even know if they're going to continue doing that. But obviously the only place you can get this specific colorway is from Harrods, and I just love anything that's green at the moment. And of course it does hold its value relatively well, so I picked this one up for £2,600, and in the secondary market they're going for about £3,000 because not everyone can come to the UK, so there is a good international demand for this watch. All right, so this is the Tudor P01. I really like the design of this. It's got a more rugged look than some of the other watches that I've got. So it comes with a leather strap. What's really interesting about this is it's got a unidirectional dial, and then the locking system kind of clicks in and out. I just think this is a very different looking Tudor, and I really like this, so I picked this one up. I picked this one up for about £2,900, and right now it's valued at £2,329. So I have lost quite a lot of money on this, but I do think in the future this would be a relatively sought after piece because not many people have picked this one up, I don't believe. So I do think this one is slept on if you're a collector. Next is this Seiko World Timer. So this is one of the few watches I picked up from Reddit. At the time I really like GMTs, and this Seiko World Timer's got kind of a GMT function in it. Somehow you're meant to tell the time of all the different cities in the world. I'm not sure how it works anymore, but yeah, I just really like the design of this. So back then I really liked things that were blue and orange, and this came with a steel bracelet, and then I just got this strap from Amazon to go with it just to match the general color scheme of the dial. So I got this one for about £415, and online they're going for about £427, so I haven't really lost or gained any money. Alright, so I do have one other watch that is of value that I don't have available with me, and it's the Seiko Presage Gundam edition, ref number SBDX029. So I have mentioned this a few times before that my favorite anime is Gundam. So when they released this, I thought I have to pick this one up. I think I got this one for about £2,800. There are very few of these models. I don't think there are any available on Chrono 24, but apparently the going price for these is about £2,100. I mean, this watch is absolutely ridiculous. I'll never wear this one out. I purely bought this because I'm a collector and I also enjoy the anime. That's pretty much it. Okay, let's talk about some of the more affordable pieces that I picked up recently. So I stopped buying collectors or luxury watches. So when you live in London, there is a chance that you're going to get robbed for your watches. I think it just got worse and worse over time. Also now with phone snatching as well in London, it's just relatively unsafe to wear expensive stuff out. And I know a few people who's had their Rolex, even Canada Goose jacket, robbed from them. And over time I just started losing an interest in picking up pieces that hold their value well, and kind of looks more towards the affordable end. So the first watch that kind of got me into the affordable range is this one, which is the G-Shock Octo series. So this nickname for this is Casio because it looks like the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, and you can buy customization kits to make it look more like that. So give it a steel bracket and then also a bracelet as well. I think it's just a really cool design. I really like the all black elements of this watch, and yeah, nothing negative to say about this at all. And then the second G-Shock that I picked up is this one. So what I really like about this is that it's solar powered and it's also Bluetooth connected as well. So the time is never wrong, which is a good thing when you consider that most of these watches that I've got in this box, if I don't wear them for a day, the time is just completely out. And then this is a kind of sought after affordable piece. So Swatch and Omega did a collaboration. I do think you can still get them, but I think a lot of people have just lost interest in them now. But this is the Swatch Omega Mission to Pluto. Obviously I picked this one up because my dog is named Pluto. And then the other very sought after one was the Mission to Neptune, which Daniel Craig wore. And yeah, the Pluto one, it just didn't have as much of a demand in it. And obviously it's got a little bit of a connection to my dog, so I just bought this one. To be honest, the quality is kind of meh. So the glass here, that's made from plastic. I think they say it's like bio-ceramic or something like that, but actually it just looks and feels like plastic. And the general design of this watch, obviously it looks like an Omega, but the material choice, you know, you can hear it, it's not that pleasing. But I do like the design of it, and it's also quite cheap nowadays. You can pick them up secondhand from people for £100. Next, this is the Casio MTP. I picked this one up very recently, like 9 months ago. So I really love the design of this. Obviously it's quite similar to a Datejust. So obviously just a simple watch with a date window right here. And this particular dial is very sought after because it looks like the Oyster Perpetual Rolex. So I think they have actually discontinued this one. But if you can find it anywhere from a retailer, I think this specific blue dial is a very good affordable piece to pick up. And then next, this is a Casio tank. I'm calling it a Casio tank because I don't know what it's actually called, but it looks similar to a Cartier tank. So my brother, he does have a Cartier tank, which I have worn a few times, but obviously I didn't really want to buy one myself, even though it is on my list. But it's just a little bit expensive for what they are, and the prices, they just keep going up and up and up, which just makes it even harder to try and buy one of them. So I just ended up with buying this Casio tank instead. And then the last two watches I've got that I'll talk about is this Casio Quartz. So this one is actually from my granddad. The gold is actually painted on, so at the back of it is actually a steel color. He had this on pretty much the whole time I've known him. I can't actually open the back to replace the battery, but to be honest, a lot of the times when I would watch this, the date and time is not just set. I'm just wearing it out as a kind of jewelry piece. So yeah, so one just got some meaning behind it. And then the last watch here, this is the Timex T90. So it's the MM6 collab. Just wanted a Timex T90 at a time, and this dropped pretty much the next day. I think it's £100 more expensive, but it came with a bracelet that is basically the watch strap. Now, I don't actually wear it. I don't know why I picked it up. Probably should have just got the original design over this to save myself £100, but it does look a little bit special. All right, so these are all of my watches in my collection. I probably wouldn't pick up many more luxury watches anymore. I think the price of them has just gone a little bit insane over the last few years, especially Rolex as well. I mean, they're increasing like 10% pretty much every year. and it's just getting to a stage where it's kind of unaffordable to pick up any of these. And also, I think a lot of the affordable brands, they are coming up with really great options in terms of watches. So, you know, this Casio tank, for example, or this Casio MTP. I think if you're looking for a specific aesthetics to go with your outfits, I would pick these over the luxury watches any day of the week. But if you're looking for something that has a little bit of a value in them, then obviously you can't go wrong with any of the Rolex pieces that I've got here. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you want me to talk about. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.